I am rejoined, thankfully, by Andy Jabor and his bright pink t-shirt. Andy, it's good to be seen again because I didn't do podcast videos last week. But it was tough without you, Andy. I don't often say those things, but it was tough without you.
It's a different feel when you're going solo for sure. So I enjoyed last week, Dave. I got the chance to binge on the Dave Pounder solos over the weekend, and I enjoyed catching up on the solos. But it's definitely a different podcast when one of us is out. So glad to be back with you here.
You didn't binge on Acolyte, did you, Andy? You didn't catch up on that yet?
No, as I was listening to you, Dave, and you're talking about Acolyte, and you're looking towards House of Dragon. I was like, man, I'm gonna fail Dave over the summer and probably be way behind on shows all summer long. So I've got some work ahead of me that I'll
Well,
probably not be caught up on for a while.
Wednesday's pods might have to be like a let Dave cook for a little bit,
Yeah,
and then you can jump in then. So I'll
yeah.
try not to spoil them for you, Andy. But I was a little annoyed with the discourse about the whole thing. Like, just fucking watch the TV show and just stop being, look, I'm a big nerd, right? But let's stop being too big of a nerds, guys. So
Dave, that reminds me of. Did you watch the Tom Brady roast that was on
Mm.
Netflix?
I did not, but
So I'll leave for you to watch if you want to. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. But there's a moment there where Ben Affleck comes out and sort of craps all over, fans commenting. It was the worst part of the 3 hour show. I mean, I'm not a Ben Affleck fan. I never have been. Don't care for the guy. It was the absolute worst part of the show because he was like, just shut up with all your comments about this and that. And it's like, look, man, just because people bang you up for being a bad actor and now you want to take it out on the sports fans, so people have opinions. It's okay if they have opinions, but I like the idea of your Wednesday entertainment recaps for us, Dave, so you can keep me somewhat current, even if I don't actually know what the hell is going on.
all right, I'll try to do that. Andy, speaking of like fans crapping all over things, did you see the Caitlin Clark news over the weekend? She didn't make the Olympic team, and everyone's acting like this is the biggest national tragedy in our lifetime. I mean, she just got out of college. I
Yeah.
mean, give the girl a break for a minute. She
Yeah,
really.
she's got a huge name and obviously great potential, and she's getting endorsement deals and everything that she should be getting. But yeah, there's some established stars in the game that've been around for a long time that are still are still relevant. So these things. It wasn't a personal slight. I don't think it's just but people like to read into things, and you got a controversy, Dave. That's sports. That's news. That's everything.
Yeah, it's a little crazy. So, I just felt like, look, I mean, she's gonna have more Olympics to go to. Like,
Yeah, of
you do you remember the Dream Team in '92 when they rolled that out
course.
and they added Christian Laettner because he was the best college basketball player. Like, let's be real. I mean, like Laettner was so little of that team. People
Yeah.
probably forget that he was on that team. Um, but look, Caitlin Clark's got three more Olympics that she can play in. Just leave it alone. So
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Agree.
it's not a tragedy. Okay, Andy, let's jump into our 3x7s. How's
Let's
that?
do it. Let's do it.
All right, all right. I'm gonna click the clock here, and we're gonna go in now. The clock is up, Andy. Andy, I teased it in a couple tweets or X posts or whatever they call them over the weekend. It's a sports check-in. I went to the Premier Lacrosse League event in Charlotte. We
Yeah.
talked about this earlier about how they're um, they're now doing home teams, and so this was the Carolina Chaos's home team weekend. So they played two games, one on Friday, one on Saturday. What happens is it's an eight-team league, so one team gets a bye, and then the two other teams, or the one team plays twice. They won on Friday, and then they played the New York Atlas on Saturday. That's the game I went to. A couple takeaways, Andy. I have a couple thoughts on this weekend. So if you'll indulge me here for a second, Andy.
Go for it.
One, it was a great crowd. Yeah, they played at the American Legion Memorial Stadium. I don't know the exact numbers, but it was, I mean, it wasn't sold out. It wasn't packed. I mean, every seat wasn't taken, but I mean, it looked like a good 65% of the stadium was full, and in every part of all the sections had people in them. And I thought that was great. The second thing is, because they do this touring model, you're like, how are they going to really do the hometown thing or whatever? They did a great, the production of it was great. One, they had Carolina Chaos all over the place. So you felt like you were going into their stadium. The other thing is when the announcers, the stadium announcers, when they announced the Carolina Chaos stuff, it was always like, and now you're Carolina Chaos. But then, or like a chaos goal or whatever. And then when the Atlas scored, it was like New York goal. I mean, it was literally just like just like a home announcer would be. And I thought that was really great. And I just came away, the quality of play was a lot better than I thought. I thought there was going to be a lot of one-on-one showboating type of like one-handed stick stuff. I mean, there were obviously some of that stuff. There was some really exciting plays, but like the quality of play was much better than I anticipated. It wasn't like a men's summer league. That's what I was afraid it was going to be. So that was really good. And then but there was and then I came away with like the Chaos are a good team. I mean, they're 2-1. But the New York Atlas are fucking stupid. I mean, they're so good. They've got so many good players on offense and defense, and their goalie's good. I came away with an impressive team. So I'm going to stop there. I had a couple negatives, mostly around parking and things like that. But for the most part, Andy, really great experience at PL. I know you've gone. Yeah, I think you
Yeah,
went to the initial championship game. I think, right, Andy?
that's right. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it's a lot of fun. I think for those that are listening, they're like, I don't care about lacrosse. If you have a chance to go and check out a game or a couple of games in your community, as they tour, it's worth checking out. It's a lot. You don't have to know the game of lacrosse to appreciate what you're watching on the field. It's a lot of great athleticism, teamwork. It's a fast-moving game. It's a fun game. Lacrosse typically has a lot of scoring in it, and with fun things that PLL's added, like the two-point shot, it just makes for a very fun, dynamic, entertaining couple of hours. We did get a chance to go to the inaugural game. It was part of a great weekend in Philly. We saw the Lions beat the Eagles on Saturday, I mean on Sunday, and the day before I think was the PLL championship in Philly. Great fun, and we've gone again since then. We were in DC for the playoff rounds a couple of years ago. Equally good show, equally good show. It was a lot of fun. So it's a great time for lacrosse fans. If you're into the game and you want to see the best players and playing around the country, you get to go and really appreciate some incredible skills. It's a lot of fun for more passive fans just to appreciate good sport, good entertainment. It's usually being played at a good time of the year, as it was for you, this weekend, Dave. So it's sunny, it's warm, it's got a good atmosphere. It's a lot of fun. So I'm glad you had a chance to go in and take it in and enjoy it. I think it's great family entertainment. I think PLL's, I know you used some comments last week on PLL and ownership and whatnot, but as far as the entertainment aspect of it all, I think it's a lot of fun. I'd love to see real home teams, like real home
Yeah.
teams. And I think eventually they'll get there as the league matures. But I'm glad to hear that they're giving it a home team vibe, as they go about it this way, and letting you get excited for your local, club, so to speak.
Yeah, I definitely did. And they had this group too called the Red Legion, so they had like their own section in the
Yeah,
stadium that
yeah,
was really cool. And they have their own like X account and so on. I thought that was really cool. And those guys were, dressed up. I think that's what you need to get some of these fan bases
yeah,
going. The other thing that I thought was so important is like the stadium venue is like you can't play a lacrosse event unless it's the championship or the playoffs or whatever in a football stadium. There's just too many open seats.
yeah,
There's too much that it's not a good visual from if you're watching it on TV. Here, though, I don't know the exact stadium, stuff. It may be a 10,000 seat a venue. And again, 60% of that full looks really full
yeah,
and it looks really good. Those are the right stadiums that lacrosse needs to be playing in. Don't shoot for the stars. And it's the same thing I think MLS is struggled
yeah,
with in the beginning. They were playing soccer in these big venues. Now you see they have soccer specific venues, really tight. things for the fans, much like they have in Europe. So I loved it this weekend. I think the PLL, I came away a much bigger fan being in person. I'm glad I went for sure. So
Yeah, no, I agree with that for sure. I think PLL often leverages, MLS stadiums. I think we
yeah.
saw them at Audi Field, which is a great venue. Audi Field in DC is a great venue. And similarly to PLL, you talk about their sort of insider fan base there. MLS has long had their team supporters who come in and get to do the big celebration, for their teams. It adds a lot of fun and flavor, to each of those games. And if PLL isn't somebody's thing, if you haven't checked out an MLS game in a long time, it's been around now for a long time, but a lot of folks have never been to a game. It's also a lot of fun, to be honest. MLS is, I think, an underappreciated league as well. So both of those are affordable tickets, great family entertainment. I think it's a great way to go and spend a few hours cheering for sports teams and just having a lot of fun. So glad you got to experience that this weekend, Dave.
All right, Andy, and we're at our 10-second countdown. So we need to stop on this first 7 by 3 by 7 by 3 with 3 by 7. We're gonna jump into the next one. Andy, did you get a break from politics while you were gone?
I did. I mean, we discussed a little bit, while we were enjoying ourselves at the beach, but for the most part, Dave, I was not paying attention, didn't care, and my life was better for it.
Yeah, I would say it's getting, I mean, we're at the dry part right now. Like the primaries are effectively over. The verdict thing is over. We're waiting for the conventions coming. Actually, we have the debates coming up too. There's a lot of stuff still swirling around there. But Andy, there's a couple things I wanted to post out here. One thing I shared with you on a Twitter or X feed, this is a story that's going around now, and I don't care so much about the story, but this is just what we're going to get with the Donald Trump presidency if we come back again. So there was this individual on X. His profile, he says he's a shit poster.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
effectively he's a pot stirrer. All he makes up shit. He says things that are so outrageous that on the surface you should just know that it's just bullshit, right?
We're talking about Elon Musk right now, or
Yeah, exactly. But this is what people do on there. They just get on there to rile people up and they just say outrageous things. But that most normal people would agree are just crap or whatever.
yeah,
It's not true. Well, this individual posted, he's like, I have a cousin who is a juror on the Trump trial. This is the day before the verdict came out. He's like, yep, Trump is going to be guilty on all counts. Okay, probably 1,000 people said something to that effect, um, uh, going anyways. But the Trump campaign and the right-wing news media have latched on to this and have now said, this is a mistrial. See, the fix was in from the beginning.
right.
And it's not just Trump posting at 1 o'clock where he says mistrial on his Truth Social account, but it's Sean Hannity, again, an esteemed journalist who's never done one credible thing in his life. And then the Newsmax organization, both again right-wing news media outlets, both latching on to these stories. But Andy, again, most normal people are going to know that this is fake news or this is guy just stirring the pot. And oh, by the way, the guy came back and said, "Hey guys, you know who I am, right? I'm a shit stirrer.
Yeah, yeah.
This is what I do." But this is the kind of stuff we're going to have under a Trump presidency again. The 1 o'clock in the morning emails of conspiracy theories, and the 2 o'clock in the morning emails, inject your veins with bleach because I saw some guy do it on YouTube kind of thing. I don't know where to go, Andy.
Yeah, I mean, you got it right. I mean, people jump on these things. They give them much louder voice than is really warranted because it is just nonsense. Like I said, anybody, and a lot of folks, said that Trump has no chance in New York. I disagree with that. Right? I think, like I said when we were talking a couple weeks ago, I believe in jury trials. I think Mr. Trump got a fair trial, right? Even if it was in New York. But people love to say things and react to things and run with things, that's nonsense. And so, you're going to hear it, and it plays to those that want to believe, and most of the rest of people ignore it. I don't know that it changes anything. It just gives Mr. Trump in this case one more thing to cry about, right? You see this in politics all the time. People seize opportunities to, scream and yell bloody murder when, like, hey, chill out. It's not really there. It's not really that. So not shocking. We're going to be seeing this for the next whatever it is, 5 months, Dave, until the election, 4 months, 3 months, wherever we are now. I lose track. But it is what it is, and we're going to hear it after the election. We're going to hear it until the inauguration, and then we're going to immediately go into the next round of political nonsense because that's what we do in America these days. We just run for office. We don't actually do anything once we're in office. We're just constantly campaigning for
Yeah.
power and money and influence. So, it's,
I think the huge thing too, though, is like the whole thing with Sean Hannity pulling this up and using this as part of his shtick. Again, if I know there are a lot of people who like Sean Hannity, I'm not quite sure why, but there's a lot of people who like this is exactly what he is, right? He's not a journalist. And I wanted to do this, Andy. I just didn't. I didn't have the time, but I wanted to take the listeners through what does a 24-hour cycle looks like on CNN,
yeah,
MSNBC, and Fox News. When you don't have like again, I know Anchorman 2 went to the extreme on like reporting stuff at 2 o'clock in the morning. But that's what 24 hours news is. You just gotta at some point you just gotta latch on to anything and try to make it. And when you have these are entertainers. Sean Hannity, make no mistake about it, is an entertainer. He is not a journalist. Has no journalism credentials. Don't give me his college radio station time back in the 80s or whatever. And don't give that to me. But when you have that kind of stuff, you have to just put kind of this shit on and try to rile up your base because what you're trying to do is get ratings, Andy, and what you're trying because then that brings in the ad dollars. And if you
yeah.
can't see that, then you know he's not trying to educate you to become fair and balanced, Andy. He's trying to educate you so he can get deep pockets of a lot of money.
Yeah, and in the idea of him running a business for himself and his brand and his network, nothing wrong with that. And the
Right.
problem is it muddies the political landscape and the political reality for a lot of people, and that's what's ugly about the business that he and others are in, is it's not honest and it confuses truth for fiction, entertainment for fact. Fox News and CNN aren't C-SPAN and it's just very different. And so, I used to listen to Handy way back in the day, and I just couldn't take it anymore because it was so much nonsense to consume. But some people eat it up and they take it all as gospel, and that's a dangerous game. More I'd like to get into, Dave, but I won't because one, I'm already feeling nauseous and queasy, and two, we're out of time.
And we've got 5 seconds left.
Right.
Andy, we're doing a pretty good job on these.
I am.
See, there's the client, there's the timer again.
It was a
So
genius idea. This
it,
3x7 format.
it was a genius idea. The only problem, Andy, is that you actually have to have three topics to go through. And today I had two. I'm stretching on the third one here. But Andy, I wanted to check in. I did a bad job at the beginning. The first one should have been like, how was your vacation? I
Dave, it
mean,
was good. It was good to be honest. Thanks for letting me talk to us. I mean, it was you know we were talking about it while we were gone. We were down at Virginia Beach, which is an annual pilgrimage for my clan and I, and we were counting back. My wife and I started going down there when we were still dating. So I mean, over 20 something years ago, over 25 years ago. But we've gone, we think, every year for the last 17 years, and we love it. It's just a place we're very familiar with. We really enjoy. It's a great atmosphere. If anybody's never been to Virginia Beach, it's one of the best boardwalks in the country. It's just a really fun experience. So it was nice to get away. I had to check in on some things, work wise, but I managed to do it on my phone and stayed off my computer, for a week, which was great. And really just kind of ignored the world as best I could, which is something I think all of us need to do probably more often. Vacations of whatever flavor, whether you're out flopped in the sun like we were, or hiking, or traveling around the world, or just staying home with friends and family, or whatever, just disconnecting from the crap we were just talking about, and from the grind of the day that each of us go through with work and everything else. It's just so important. So it was a great break. You were teasing about my pink shirt. This is my Planet Pizza shirt, Dave, one of our favorite haunts down at Virginia Beach. It's a great spot if you have never been. It's on 6th Street at Virginia Beach on the boardwalk on the ocean front. It's great. We love it. Best pizza in Virginia. And it's just great to go and enjoy those things that have become traditions for us and spend time with family and just really appreciate our blessings. So it was great. I really enjoyed it. Sorry to have left you for a week, but not really because I was very content where I was.
I meant to ask you is like what made you choose Virginia Beach? Because again, growing up in that Northern Virginia area, you could either go to a lot of people went to Ocean City,
Yeah.
and then others went to Virginia Beach. So what made you choose Virginia Beach, Andy?
I'd been to Ocean City, in high school. Didn't love it. It has some funny stories from my time there. But at the end of the day, Ocean City is across the Potomac in Maryland, and Virginia Beach, Dave, is in God's country, Virginia. And so there's really only one right answer, right? You drive south and you go to Virginia Beach and you support the great Commonwealth of Virginia. I love it. It's a really enjoyable family beach. There's a lot of options. There's a lot of streets to spend your time on. It's just got a really great vibe. It's a little bit further south. It's a little bit warmer than Ocean City. I think personally, I think it's a little bit more well maintained than Ocean City, Maryland. Nothing against Ocean City, Maryland, but we just always that just became our stop. And we again sort of one of those things where you get to know someplace, you get to love someplace, and it just becomes part of your nostalgia. Even while it's part of your present. So we enjoyed it. It was good. We went a little bit earlier than we usually do. So it was a little bit quieter on the beach, not quite as crowded, a little bit calmer in the ocean, a little bit colder in the ocean. There's that moment when the wave hits you in your glory spots and you kind of feel how cold it is. But it was a lot of
Shrinkage, Andy? Is shrinkage anyone?
I mean, there was definitely some shrinkage for sure, but I'm like a kid out there. I love to jump in the ocean and play, and here's this this old guy jumping in the water like a 6 year old, and I do it all the time. So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. They've always got sports events going on as well. So like there's a volleyball tournament. There was the national sand soccer tournament being played as
Sand
well.
soccer, nice.
Yeah, yeah. So there's lots to entertain one with. There's a great concert. I'm not sure the whole theme of the concert was, but just a couple streets down from where we were on the beach the day we arrived, there was I think one of the Marley children was performing and some other acts. So there's all. Hey, here's my Virginia Beach unsolicited promotion. There's always something wonderful to do at Virginia Beach. It's also great on the 4th of July. If nobody's ever been for the 4th of July, it's a great place to take in the fireworks over the ocean and enjoy it. So this is my unsolicited promotion for the Commonwealth of Virginia and our great shore.
There's always something to do at Virginia Beach. That
That's
sounds like a good advertisement, Andy. Get the Virginia Chamber of Commerce right on that, Andy.
right. That's right.
Question again, I don't disagree with what you're saying between Ocean City and Virginia Beach. Ocean City was just so slam packed, especially during some of the weeks. You could like finding a place there. It's always tough.
Yeah.
Have you is 17 years at Virginia Beach, have you noticed like changes, like good, bad, or indifferent?
Honestly, there are changes. There are changes, but not like really significant ones that have taken away from the experience. I mean, the boardwalk's grown. They're updating it. They're building a great. It looks like it's going to be a great music venue. There's been a lot of construction, going on. They're building the area up more and more. A lot of the older hotels have gotten facelifts, but the feel, the vibe is still very much the same. As we've been going to a lot of the same restaurants for many of those years. I was curious while we were chatting. The new motto is "Live the Life" for Virginia Beach, and I think you can just go and really enjoy it. There's spots where people go and surf. There's places where you can go and for the kids to play. There's an aquarium. There's lots to do around the area. A lot of that's been there. Some of that's new, and I think they have continued to grow and update the environment. So it always looks new. It's always fun, but it's got the same family safe atmosphere that's always had. There have been a few issues over the years, a couple incidents, especially coming out of COVID, like everywhere else, where there was a little bit of incidents here and there. The Virginia police do a great job. Virginia Beach police do a great job of maintaining a calm and safe atmosphere. Driving by on their gators on the beach, just being present on the streets. It's really a great place.
Yeah, well, there you go. So, Andy, we're wrapping up on this last segment here. So, but it is good to have you back. I'm looking forward to my trip our family's trip down to Mexico in a couple of weeks.
Nice.
Unfortunately, you'll have two, but we're also building up. That'll build us up to like our 100th episode, Andy. So that's kind of an exciting time
It
uh,
is.
for us. 100 episodes doing this. So we've probably done this thousands more, not on a recorded podcast. So, but it's all fun and good. So, Andy, I'm going to stop the timer here and just wrap this episode up. But Andy, I would be remiss if I didn't. I've been harping on the box offices the last couple weeks.
Yeah,
Bad Boys Do or Die, Andy, or I'm sorry, Ride or Die, partially saved the box office this week. At 56 million, they did 100 million worldwide. I thought this was like, I was like, look, I liked the first Bad Boys. Didn't particularly watch any of the other ones. And I thought this was like that last, you know, the last gasp, especially with, in the aftermath of the Will Smith incident from a couple years back.
yeah,
But it seemed like it did well. Inside Out 2, my daughter's really excited about that coming up. That'll be something we're going to go watch before we go to Mexico. And then you still are seeing like a lot of this, the Wolverine and Deadpool. The activity around that is looking really strong. So excited to see maybe the summer box office might rebound a little bit, but we still got a long way between that Deadpool movie. So
yeah.
we'll see, Andy.
We'll see. One miss. We usually go to the movies at least once while we're down at the beach. We didn't make it to go out and see my Planet of the Apes movie this time around because the weather was too good. So I'm still behind on my long-awaited movie taking into that. So we'll see. But there are some good movies coming out. Like I said, Inside Out 2 is a big one for my wife as it talks her language of therapy quite a bit. So yeah, some things to enjoy. Yeah, we even mentioned the fact that there's NBA championship being played right now, and the Celtics, boo, are up 2-0 right now.
I think that's probably why we're not talking about it, Andy, because I could give two shits about like Boston right now. So the last thing I'd like to hear is them win a championship. But yes, it's true. All kudos to those Celtics fans out there. So all right, Andy. Well, it is good to have you back here. Excited about the week ahead. I'm sure more news will come up, and we'll do a little pop culture on Wednesday. I'll give you a I'll try to do a spoiler-free Acolyte update
All right.
so give you my views on that. So, all right, Andy, I'll catch up with you next time.